Hey y'all, it's kind of late, but I just wanted to make this video before I went to bed. First of all, thank you to everybody who went to thebelairs.com a couple days ago and read the blog. Thank you so much. If you have not, it's still there. Go check it out, whatever. But in writing that, the name of that blog was At the Intersection of Spirit and Truth, something like that. Anyway, but in studying, like I said, I do it for myself. Like I don't claim to be no teacher, nothing like that. But um, it's just for my own self. Like for me, at the most basic level, I feel like we all need to be spiritually grounded. So, with that being said, I came across some information about chakras and if you don't know what chakras are, those are energy centers inside of your body. There's what, seven main ones, 13 total that I found in my research, but seven main ones that people focus on. And they're identified by different colors and they're located in different areas of the body. The root chakra being the lowest, it's the most basic level, your root chakra, and it's identified by the color red. Um, but in my studying, like I said, just trying to be grounded, trying not to let fear, with so much stuff going on, like we on day number whatever in this quarantine. Like I don't even know, does anybody know what day we on at this point? You know what I'm saying? But just trying not to be swayed by it, you know what I'm saying? There's only so much you can do, and really on the physical realm of it, you can't do a whole lot because we really don't even know what's going on. So many theories floating around. That's neither here nor there. But you know, we just got to be able to stand tall, stand. Just get through it. Just get through it. Mentally, keep it together. Whatever. But anyway, in my studies, I came across Matthew chapter 13, verse 24 through 30, and it was a parable of the weeds. So Jesus um, was talking to the people, whatever disciples, I don't know, and he was talking about a farmer who had sowed some seeds in his field. He was growing wheat, and the wheat had been growing or whatever. So in the middle of the night, his enemy came upon him, and destroyed the wheat or whatever, destroyed the field or whatever. So the next morning, when the farmer came out, he and his workers, the workers were like, you know, then you just plant a field or whatever, and the farmer was like, yeah, the enemy did this. So they were asking the farmer if he wanted them to clean it up. He told them no, just let it grow. We'll let them grow together until harvest time. And it was time to when it's time to harvest. We'll first collect the weeds in bundles. We'll burn them, and then the rest of the wheat, we'll bring it to the barn. Now, with that being said, the farmer had enough wherewithal, and enough patience and sense and whatever about himself to know that two things: on a physical level, what was planted was still underground. So what the enemy destroyed was really just the early harvest, you know what I mean? But because he was rooted underground. The plant was rooted underground. The enemy didn't destroy it. He only destroyed the harvest of it so far. It was still in its early stages, you know what I mean? But it was still planted, still able to grow. The farmer was smart enough to know not to react to the enemy in such a way as to destroy what's left. He was smart enough to understand that what he had was grounded in good ground and that it could still produce a harvest. He was smart enough to recognize that he didn't go off on the deep end. He didn't want to go behind the enemy. He didn't jump off the deep end and just start ripping the stuff out of the ground. He didn't allow the people around him to react that way either. And in the end, he still reaped the benefits of it. Like he said, let it grow together. We'll collect the first ones, burn it, and what's left up under it, we'll take it to the barn. That's what we were looking for anyway. It's cool, whatever. And then that goes along too with the root chakra, what I was talking about earlier. The root chakra is on the spiritual level because um, um, John verse 4:24, I'm sorry, says God is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. So I figure in my journey alone, if I'm trying to get closer to God, gain God Christ consciousness, You know what I mean? If that's what I'm trying to get to, and I'm trying to have that type of relationship with God, I got to get my spirit together as well, because it says that in order to be on that level, you got to worship God in spirit and in truth. So, with that being said, again, as far as being grounded with what's going on in the economy, but just in life in general, not letting things just sway us, the smallest things, like, things are going to happen, trouble's going to rise, and you handle it the best way you can. But if you have a strong foundation and you're rooted, you're grounded in something, you believe in something, you have some type of system, you know what I mean? It keeps you balanced. It keeps you balanced. But anyway, root chakra is located at your spine or your tailbone. You know, again, like I said earlier, it's identified by the color red, but it controls your consciousness or your state of awareness, your means for survival or your survival instincts. Being grounded, your root chakra, if your root chakra is balanced, you're able to have loving relationships, your basic survival needs, money, food, clothing. Because you're conscious and you're aware, you are one of those people that understand what needs to be done and you get it done. You're one of those types of people. And, you know, when trouble arises, you deal with it. You know what I'm saying? You figure out what you need to do, come up with a plan to deal with it, because like I said in the blog, people may do drugs or alcohol or even run to religion, but if you're not physically doing something to correct whatever your situation is, it can't be fixed, because nobody's going to do it for you. Nothing's going to drop out of the sky. So you have to do the work. Like there's no way around it. But also with your root chakra, if your root chakra is out of balance, it can cause depression, selfishness, aggression, paranoia, and you can lack your basic survival needs. But because you can't focus and you're not rooted, you're not grounded, you're not focused on the most basic level of what you need to do, then you won't do what you need to do, and you become a dependent. You know what I mean? You always need somebody to do something for you, provide your food, provide your shelter, provide your, you just needy. Even if you have an apartment, you're doing your own thing, but you're needy. Every time somebody talks to you whining about something, it's just always something. You're never satisfied. You just never satisfied. That type of person is just never satisfied. That person's not grounded. You got to be thankful for what you have. Like right now, be thankful for what you have and what you're going through. Be thankful that you're making it through. You know what I'm saying? Like I read some stories, a couple. I think they were like European people, whatever, Australia, something like that. But a nurse that killed herself because she found out she had coronavirus, and another place, a boyfriend strangled his girlfriend because he thought she gave him coronavirus. I don't know why he thought that. The thing didn't describe any symptoms or whatever, but at the end of the day, after she died, they tested both of them and they both tested negative. So like, why are you panicking like that? Like, what was going on with you that you felt like you needed to choke her out because you thought she gave you coronavirus? Like, people are living with coronavirus, like, but whatever. But anyway, I just want to encourage you to be grounded, like the farmer that planted the seed and still reap the benefits. Even though the enemy came his way, he was able to stand steadfast and not make a rash decision, not do something crazy. You know what I mean? Your root chakra, go do the research. I was gonna start on Pastor Jamal Brown, but I ain't gonna do it. But yeah, just do the research. Just do the research. You got to get your spirit in line, because if you're going to worship God, you got to do it in spirit and in truth. That means your spirit's got to be right. And if your spirit is balanced and your intentions are to do the right thing by people, then you will be a better person. There's no way around that. You may stumble and fall, you may make mistakes, but as long as there's no malicious intent behind what you're doing, God is a forgiving God, and you got to forgive yourself, and you got to be able to move on. So again, that goes back to spirit. Like, you can ask God for forgiveness, but unless you can forgive yourself and move on, it won't work. Anyway, do the research on your chakras. Start on the most basic level, your root chakra. And with that being said, with what's going on, I feel like this whole coronavirus situation we got going on has got us locked up in the house, which to me is not a bad thing, because it's just not a bad thing. My kids here, we homeschooling. I'm able to work from home. It is what it is. And I'm thankful that I have that ability to work from home. But I feel a way for people who can't. But I mean, what can you do at this point? What can you do about it? But I will say, this is the time. Like while we're on ground zero, this is the time for us in general to come up with a plan. Like we really look at our situation right now. Like those of us who are really dependent on jobs that we can't go to right now, we don't have the ability to work from home. Like some people are getting paid that can't, that can't go to work, which is cool. Those companies, shout out to them. But those ones that's not, like people are really gonna feel the effects of that. So we really need to look at some things like, practicing some better financial planning and habits, like planning for a rainy day. Like if it wasn't this, this is really extreme. Like this is really, really extreme. But if it wasn't this, things are always going to arise. Even if you're an entrepreneur and you already have a business, small business owners not even dependent on jobs. If you have a business, things are going to happen. So what do you have aside? Do you have something set aside for a rainy day? Like, can you go 2 or 3 months without depending on a paycheck from your job or continuous business at a storefront or something like that? Or even if you have an online business, other people are out of work. So they can't necessarily make purchases from your website, that type of thing. So just practicing good financial habits, and just coming up with a financial plan. Get with a financial advisor if you need to, or whatever. We need to start saving more than we spend. You know what I'm saying? Creating an emergency fund. Like I said, that 2 to 3 months, it's sad to say, but a lot of us can't go more than 2 paychecks without being like for real messed up. Like so many of us are living check to check. That's crazy. And rather it's because your job just don't pay that much, or because you spend it more than you bringing in, or just not saving. Whatever the case is, we need to have multiple streams of income. Like we can't be dependent on these jobs, because that's what we are when we're working these people's jobs, or when we depend on one source of income. We're dependents at that point, and we put our life in somebody else's hands. So we got to do better with that. And then on a spiritual level, as far as spiritual building, like watching what we say, making sure we speak in words of love and encouragement, even if it's just to ourselves. When a negative thought arises about the situation, just say, thank God I'm not homeless. You know what I'm saying? Just whatever the case is, speak life into it. We got to watch what we say, because Spirit tells us that we can have what we say, and what we ponder on, what we think about often, usually manifests for us. So good or bad, we have what we think. And then like with the story of the farmer who planted the seeds, we need to assess situations before we react to them. Like, is this the best solution? Is this what I should do right now? You know what I mean? Is this what I should be doing? Sorry, I had to unplug the charger. Is this what I should be doing though? Just assess the situation. Don't be rash. Don't make decisions that'll get you in trouble. Don't let stuff trick you off the street, like we like to say. And just be slow to anger. You know what I'm saying? You could potentially make things worse by overreacting. Especially for me in my age. I'm at an age where I can't get crunk about every little situation. Like, you just can't. It don't lead to anything good anytime. You know what I mean? Like, what, you want to fight at 40? Who wants to fight? And I sure ain't trying to go to jail. Like, that ain't it. So just be slow to anger, because again, you can make things worse. Like the story of the farmer, the sower, because he, kept his calm, his head was calm, and he thought about what was going on. He assessed the situation. Like, they didn't really destroy what I had. They destroyed what they saw. They didn't really destroy what I had, because what I had was planted. It was rooted, and you couldn't touch that. Didn't touch that. But anyway, so yeah, I just wanted to make this video real quick. It's late. It is 4/4/2020. How about that? 4/4/4. But anyway, it's your girl Belle Ayres, and the Belle of all things. Again, thank you so much for those of you who went to the website, thebelleayres.com. If you did not go to the website, you still have time. It's there. We got nothing but time. And go do your research on your chakras, starting with the root chakras. My inbox is always open if you have questions. Again, I do not claim to be a teacher. I just be talking. I just be talking, y'all. But I just want to encourage you to be planted. Again, that scripture was Matthew 13:24-30. It was about being grounded. What you doing, putting what you do into deeper. If you know what you're doing is planted, is rooted, is planted in something good, it will prosper. Doesn't matter what the enemy brings your way. So I just want to remind you of that. Matthew 13:24-30. Pastor Jamal Bryan said we shouldn't burn sage, but I say I could burn sage and read the Bible to him to who he think he is. And he over there charging the people $150 for them COVID-19 tests. You know Jamal Bryan, you need. I ain't gonna start tonight. It's too late. But I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.